If you've ever felt ignored, dismissed, or talked over like your words didn't matter, this is for you. Because the truth is, disrespect doesn't always come with yelling. Sometimes it's silence. Sometimes it's the feeling that no one really sees you. And if you don't learn how to respond with calm power, you'll keep replaying those moments in your head and slowly forgetting who you are. But what if I told you there's a way to break that cycle? In this video, you'll discover 5 life-changing lessons inspired by the way Einstein faced rejection, criticism, and disrespect, and came out unshaken. You don't need to shout. You don't need to fight. You just need to see what you've been missing. Stay calm, stay powerful, and don't look away. This might be the moment everything changes. Picture this. You're in a room full of people, maybe at work, maybe with family, maybe just chatting with friends. You speak up. You share something that matters to you. And then someone cuts you off, laughs, makes a little joke at your expense. Everyone hears it. In that moment, your whole body tightens. You want to fight back. Say something sharp. Prove you're not someone to mess with. But you freeze. And later, when you're alone, the replay won't stop. You keep asking yourself, why didn't I say anything? Or worse, why do I let this happen? Sound familiar? The truth is, disrespect doesn't just hurt your feelings, it shakes your identity. Makes you question if people really see you, if they value you, if you even matter. And here's the trap. The more you try to fight for respect, the more you lose your center. You get louder, more reactive, but feel smaller inside. But what if I told you Einstein, yes, that Einstein, had a completely different way to deal with disrespect? He wasn't just brilliant in science. He was unshakably calm, even while being criticized, rejected, and underestimated for most of his life. And what he learned could change how you handle every disrespectful moment without ever raising your voice. Because in this video, you're going to learn Einstein's 5 most powerful lessons for staying calm and protecting your inner strength, even when someone's trying to tear you down. But I have to warn you, if you ignore these lessons, you'll stay trapped in the cycle, getting hurt, reacting, regretting, and repeating. But if you stay with me, all the way to the end, you'll walk away with something no one can take from you: self-mastery. So take a breath, because today, you're not going to learn how to fight back. You're going to learn how to rise above. Lesson 1. The silence of masters. You know that moment. When someone talks down to you in a meeting, or throws a sarcastic comment like a dagger, pretending it's just a joke. There's a split second where your whole body tightens. Your mind races with a dozen comebacks. Your ego whispers, say something, don't let this slide. But imagine this. Instead of reacting, you just breathe. You look at the person, not with anger, not with fear, but with a strange, calm curiosity. You say nothing. And in that silence, something shifts. Einstein once said, stay away from negative people. They have a problem for every solution. He wasn't just warning you about them. He was freeing you from them. See, some people thrive on reaction. They poke, not because they're strong, but because they're desperate to feel something, anything, in a world that's numb. When you respond with fire, you're feeding that hunger. But when you stay still, when your silence is deliberate, powerful, and unbothered, you become untouchable. This isn't weakness, it's mastery. It's you stepping out of the noise and standing in your own gravity. And the ones who try to shake you, they start to realize something terrifying. They can't reach you anymore. Because silence, real, rooted silence, isn't emptiness. It's a decision. Lesson 2. Your value isn't up for negotiation. There's something that happens when someone disrespects you. Not just what they say, but what it triggers inside. Maybe it takes you back to being overlooked as a kid. Maybe it reminds you of all the times you tried to prove yourself and still felt invisible. That sting, that heat in your chest. It's not just about now. It's about every moment you felt small. But here's the truth Einstein lived by. Try not to become a person of success, but rather a person of value. Think about that for a second. Because most of us spend our lives chasing something. Recognition, approval, the next win. We think if we finally succeed enough, we'll be respected. But Einstein is whispering something radical. You don't earn your worth through applause. You uncover it by being who you are when no one's clapping. When someone disrespects you, your instinct might be to argue, defend, explain why you matter. But what if you didn't have to? What if you let their disrespect reveal them, not you? Value doesn't shout, it doesn't chase. It simply is. And the moment you stop trying to convince the world of your worth is the moment the right people begin to feel it. Because real power isn't loud, it's quiet, grounded, and impossible to shake. Lesson 3. Emotions are messengers, not masters. You wake up one morning and there's already a tightness in your chest. Maybe it's from a message left on read or a look someone gave you yesterday that didn't sit right. You tell yourself to forget it, but it lingers. By the time you're brushing your teeth, you're already rehearsing what you should have said. And when something small goes wrong, someone cuts in line, the coffee spills, your phone dies, you snap. Not just at the moment, but at everything. Einstein once said, "A calm and modest life brings more happiness than the pursuit, though, of success combined with constant restlessness." It's not that he was against ambition, but he knew what we often forget, that when our emotions control us, even success tastes bitter. The anger, the anxiety, the need to prove, none of these are wrong. They're just signals. They're telling you something's off, but they're not supposed to be in charge. Your emotions are like waves. They rise, they crash, and then they pass. But if you build your house in the middle of the storm, you'll drown every time. The key is to listen without obeying, feel without reacting, notice without collapsing, because you are not your anger. You are not your fear. You are not even your thoughts. You are the one watching all of it, and the moment you remember that, you take back the steering wheel of your life. Lesson 4. Your time is sacred. Protect it, like your life depends on it. Have you ever walked away from a conversation and thought, why did I even engage? Maybe it was someone gossiping, draining your energy. Maybe it was that argument that went nowhere but still echoes in your head hours later. It's subtle, but every time you give your attention to someone who hasn't earned your presence, you lose a piece of yourself. Einstein once said, "The only reason for time is so that everything doesn't happen at once." It sounds poetic, almost playful, but underneath, it's a warning. Time is not just minutes ticking by. It's your life force, and who you give it to determines what kind of life you build. When someone disrespects you, it's tempting to invest time trying to win them over, prove them wrong, explain yourself. But the truth? Every second you spend doing that is a second stolen from what actually matters. Your peace, your purpose, your people. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table. Not every battle is worth your sword. And not every voice deserves an answer. There's a quiet strength in walking away, not out of fear, but out of clarity. Because when you realize how limited your time is, you stop wasting it on anything or anyone that keeps you small. Your presence is a gift. Start treating it like one. Lesson 5. Great spirits attract resistance. Don't shrink, evolve. There's a moment most people don't talk about when they start to grow. It's not the breakthrough or the triumph. It's the backlash, the resistance, the subtle looks, the uncomfortable silences, the friends who stop calling, the co-workers who whisper behind your back. You're doing better, you're thinking deeper, you're choosing differently. And somehow, that bothers people. Einstein saw it, lived it, and named it. Great spirits have always encountered violent opposition from mediocre minds. It's not just a poetic line, it's a law of nature. When you start to elevate, not in arrogance, but in depth, in authenticity. You trigger something in those who are still hiding from themselves. Your calmness confronts their chaos. Your self-respect disrupts their control. Your peace feels like an accusation to the ones still living in survival mode. And the mistake we often make? We think the opposition means we've done something wrong. So we shrink. We dim our light. We make ourselves smaller to fit back into the space we've outgrown. But listen carefully. Opposition isn't a sign of failure. It's the echo of transformation. Einstein wasn't trying to be admired. He was just trying to see clearly. And that clarity made people uncomfortable. He asked questions others avoided. He embraced uncertainty while others clung to control. And because of that, he was mocked, ignored, doubted, but he never went back. He understood something that can change the way you face criticism forever. Not all resistance is a reason to stop. Sometimes, it's confirmation that you're finally on the right track. Think about a plane taking off. It doesn't rise with the wind, it climbs against it. And the higher it goes, the stronger the resistance. But also, the quieter it gets. There's a silence at altitude that you can't hear on the ground. And that silence, that's where power lives. So the next time someone disrespects you, questions your path, or throws doubt at your feet, pause. Ask yourself, am I being opposed because I'm being unkind, or because I'm being real? Because I'm repeating old patterns, or because I've finally broken free from them? And if the answer is, because I'm growing, then don't shrink. Refine. Let the criticism polish you. Let the disrespect build your discipline. Let the discomfort deepen your roots. Because the world doesn't need more people who blend in. It needs people like you, people willing to walk alone for a while, so others can one day walk free. Einstein didn't live to be liked. He lived to be awake. And the same fire that burned through rejection also lit the path that billions would one day follow. So when they push against you, don't push back. So here we are, 5 lessons, 5 shifts, and maybe, just maybe, something. Inside you feels quieter, not weaker. Quieter. That sacred kind of quiet that doesn't need to prove anything anymore. Because here's the truth. No one tells you growing up. Respect isn't something you force out of people. It's something you embody, and the right ones will feel it without you saying a word. You don't get more powerful by raising your voice. You get more powerful by lowering the volume inside until you can hear your own wisdom again. Because at the root of all disrespect, there's always a choice. Will you react? Or will you return to yourself? Most of the world is still reacting. That's why there's so much noise, so much conflict, so much exhaustion. But the rare ones, the truly free, they're not louder. They're not tougher. They're still. They're clear. And they live by one quiet rule. I don't need to control how you treat me. I only need to remember who I am. Einstein wasn't just a physicist. He was a philosopher of presence. He understood what most people spend a lifetime missing, that your mind can solve problems, but only your heart can transform them. When you live with that kind of clarity, when your self-worth isn't rented out to every opinion or comment, you start to notice something. People begin to treat you differently, not because you demanded it, but because you became someone whose energy speaks louder than their words. And when someone does disrespect you again, and they will, you won't shrink. You won't snap. You'll simply notice. You'll feel the fire rise. And you'll choose not to burn. Because real strength doesn't need to fight. It chooses peace, and that choice is the most radical act of power there is. So now, let's make it real. This week, I want you to try something simple, but life-changing. Every night before bed, take out a notebook or the Notes app on your phone and ask yourself 3 questions. Where today did I feel disrespected? By someone else or by myself? How did I respond? Did I react, or did I return to myself? What did I learn about what still needs healing inside me? Not to judge, not to fix, just to notice. Because awareness is the beginning of every revolution, and here's what will happen. Slowly, subtly, beautifully, you'll begin to respond differently. The same people who once triggered you will lose their power. Your reactions will give way to reflection, and you'll find a strange, unshakable calm settling into your bones. That calm? That's not you giving up. That's you finally remembering who you are. So let me leave you with this. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your peace. You don't need to shout to be heard. You don't need to defend your worth. You just need to live it. Because when you stop chasing what you don't need, what you truly want begins to find you, and now it's your turn. Comment below. What's one thing you're letting go of today? One reaction, one wound, one story that no longer fits who you're becoming. Share it, name it, release it, and if this video spoke to something deep in you, pass it on. Not for views, for impact. Someone out there is still fighting battles with their reflection. Let them know they're not alone. Because peace isn't passive, it's a decision. And today, you made it.